Trust the golden fisherman, right? The fisher guy. What the hell was he doing, catching cod or something? Today we're out in Etarts Bay with our buddy Ben from Ben Jacobsen Salt. Today we're going to be doing a little start to finish salt making. For lack of a better term, we're going to dehydrate some water. I mean, it sounds simple, but I'm sure there's a decent amount of science to it. Let's go see how that's all done, huh, Vinny? Oh, beach weather, Vince. You breathe that in, it's like, oh, it's a little hot. Get in here, get comfortable. We're here with Ben from Ben Jacobsen from Jacobsen Salt. I see you have a bunch of what looks like a giant stock pot filled with saltwater brine mixture, whatever you got going on.
Right now we're evaporating seawater, plain and simple, but most importantly removing calcium. And you can imagine tasting this.
Yeah, me no way.
It's bitter and it tastes chalky.
Wow, look at the layers on that, Vinny. Straight up calcium. Good for your bones, bad for your salt.
Took us 3 years to find this property, and it's an old oyster farm.
Oyster farm, okay.
So we converted it to our salt production facility. So we have a PVC line that goes into the bay, and we're able to pump on the high tide.
Right in. So this whole room is just evaporation.
Yeah, exactly. This is bulk evaporation. We are removing seawater at a very specific salinity and getting it to a concentrate.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. How's that fog doing? And then the evaporated product, you don't let it go bone dry, obviously.
Nope,
So what you make it, you evaporate it to a certain
very
salinity level.
Yeah, we call it a brine.
Salt making brine. What do you do with that brine?
So then we pump the brine inside to stainless steel evaporation pans.
As you can see, Vinny, check this out, bud. On the bottom there is all the salt crystals that are starting to form up. In my mind, I always thought like you would have to evaporate all the water, and then the salt would be at the bottom.
Yeah.
But so once it gets to a certain salinity level, then naturally the crystals would start to form.
Yeah. So the crystals form once it hits that salinity level, and then they become more dense than the brine. And they fall to the bottom, and then we harvest the salt crystals and then dry them out. Start from the edge, and you want to go slowly. Because at this point, they're pretty delicate. But I mean, look at that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's real cool.
I mean, that's gorgeous. And then you want to just spread it in here really nice and gently.
Now, you wouldn't want to go stacking that, right? So like the next shovel will go in a new bin kind of thing?
Correct, yeah.
Mind if I do a little scoopy scoop?
Would love it, yeah.
Look at that, Vinny. My first salt harvest, bud.
Nice.
Vinny, check this out on the bottom side. You can see all the like little layers and lines. Now, why does it form like that?
That's the way NaCl naturally forms, but again, under the right conditions.
From here, what do you just kind of let it air dry, or do you have like a room where you dry it in?
Yeah, so we stack them on our speed racks here at a slight tilt, so all the brine slides out of it.
Pitches out, yep.
Exactly, and then we'll move them into our dehydration room.
You know, Vinny, it seems simple, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's amazing that these, All right, so we were just in those final evaporation tanks.
Yep.
You bring them in here, and this is what? So like a big dehydrator?
It's a big dehydrator.
So this is all flaky salt?
Yep. I mean,
look
beautiful
at that.
flakes in there.
Wow. It feels so much different than when it dries.
Yeah, and they'll dry as sheets, and then when we sift them, they'll break apart a little bit.
Cool, and then I notice over here you got a little bit of a little pink thing going.
This is our Pinot Noir salt. It's made with Groshaw Cellars Pinot Noir from the Willamette Valley. We gradually apply wine to it, and over a couple of applications, it absorbs the color and flavor.
Oh yeah, clean, salty, but that little bit of lingering of that like grapey wine kind of flavor, a little bit of the tannins. Oh, I really like that, Vinny. Well, Vinny, I'm sweating. Let's get out of here. Humbug. A humbug. So
in here we dry our kosher salt, and our kosher salt's made the exact same way as a flake salt, but it just comes out of the pan at a different time.
Okay.
And you can see the difference here. It's much finer grained.
And less of a finishing salt, but like an everyday what you're using
brining,
to cook.
baking, boiling, whatever.
Everyday salt.
Yep, exactly.
I almost feel like we're in like a weird episode of Breaking Bad, and like this isn't really salt, and you're just cooking up like that. Look at that, bud. Bag of salt. Back in the day, it used to be a currency, if I'm not mistaken, right?
True.
We got a nice little thing here showing the different grades of salt. Starting with the big, that nice finishing flaky salt, and then just kind of working down into, what looks like kind of that kosher salt just for everyday finishing. Whatever you're into, man, will make the party happen. And it's one of those things where, I mean, salt is kind of taken for granted, for lack of better terms. You know, you use it for everything.
It's the most effective way to elevate every bite of food.
Absolutely. You know, from your flavored salts to your flaky salts to your kosher salt, you know, it's just all about getting a better quality salt product out to the people. All natural, you know, there's no BS, no preservatives,
nothing. No anti-caking agents, nothing.
Just straight, clean C. Hey, man, thanks for showing us the ropes.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
All right.
All right, well, big round of applause for old Ben Jacobsen cranking out some hand-harvested pure flaky sea salt. Within 2 weeks, it goes from the bay into those beautiful flakes. Salt's not alive, but everything that we love to eat out of the ocean thrives on it, and just life in general needs salts. Like anything, there's a lot of good salts out there. There's a lot of bad salts. You know, buy good stuff. Get yourself some. Order it online. Call me. Call Ben. Call Vinny. Call whoever you want. You know, call Santa Claus. Regardless, we'll get you some salt. Boom! See you later, baby. Let's go. Bon Appetit. Skipping in a dibble and diddly-dee. Vinny gonna come around there with me. Running in and taking it up, a little slippery. Oh no. Quicksand, Vince. All right, I'm gonna skip this one for you, Vinny. Oh, who's better than me, buddy boy? That was a good one. Pacific Northwest got some great skipping stones. Not as much. I was just up in Minnesota, and we were up at Pebble Beach. By far, the best skipping stone beach I've ever been to in my life. I counted about 75. State record. Oh, Vinny, we're in it, man. We got the steam going. You come here on a nice winter day, bud. You know, living the dream, man. Oh, it just feels so good. Oh, Jesus Christ. Great for the pores, great for the lungs. Oh, what's in here, you're wondering, Vince? Just buckets of calcium. If anyone needs calcium for whatever, just DM me. And we'll figure it out. Just take a moment of silence and enjoy this. We got Luca the dog. Reminds me of the Goonies a little. Well, we got wildlife back there, he knows. Was that a crane, or what do they call him? Heron? Either way, he's over there fishing like hell. What are these, geese? Sure are. They know where it's at. Right in that big old muddy beach. Oh Jesus. There's oysters everywhere, Vince. That's cool. I'm kind of blown away by the landscape here, you know? I always thought I'd like the Pacific Northwest, but man, beautiful stuff. And I'm a sucker for fog, you know? Nothing wrong with a little fog, Vince. I think it just adds a nice little romantic vibe, you know?